I'm recording this the end of April 2020 during the pandemic, and this work at home, stay at home situation that we're in, it has me thinking about, and many of us, of course, thinking about this very often discussed topic of work-life balance. Because whatever balance we had become accustomed to, whether we were satisfied with it or not, it's been thrown off for most of us. Whatever balance of time at work, time with our partners, with our kids, doing housework, time spent spiraling with the conversation in our own heads, whatever it was, we're all quickly having to adapt to something else. Now that we're deprived of operating as usual, whether that has to do with losing your work entirely or doing more or less of it or doing it differently or being out in a world that feels threatening, no one's getting to operate as usual right now in life or in work. So we're forced into recognizing more clearly how we do operate as usual. When choice is taken away, we become more aware of the choices that we had made before they were taken away. One of the most common coaching topics is the struggle with the ways in which people use their limited time and their limited energy. What we get to do in coaching is to take a few steps back from life as usual and try to look at things differently, to ask new questions about how we're doing things and the choices that we're making consciously or not about how we use that time and energy. And we consider the tactics of how we approach tasks and how we approach people. Well, this pandemic gives us an opportunity to do something similar, to stand back from life as usual and see what these circumstances reveal to us, to ask, what do they reveal to us about what we do and don't appreciate about the current balances in our lives? What's being revealed to us about the choices that we were making for ourselves? I don't know if you've noticed, but in the past few years, there's been a trend to talk about work-life integration instead of work-life balance. And boy, if there has ever been an opportunity to have an experiment with work-life integration, this is it. It is happening right now. I think that this term became popular because for many people, it feels more realistic and more desirable even to think about integrating your work life into your personal life so that they aren't necessarily separate, but that they are something that they're things that work together, right? That create a meaningful life rather than to say, this is my personal life and this is my work life. And I get this. I think this is a mindset that serves a lot of people. And if it works for you and you're very good at answering emails and structuring deals and chatting with your significant other and playing with your kids, then great, by all means, keep doing that. I see a lot of people struggle with this. Most of us can, and most of us do take our work home with us, and that is great. It provides amazing flexibility that serves so many of us. It also, of course, makes it very hard to set boundaries that are healthy, to recognize where those boundaries even are or could or should be. It makes it hard for us to get the downtime that so many of us crave. The fact that we can work at home so easily makes integration feel like a mandate instead of a choice. And many of my clients struggle with that. I struggle with it. My husband is very good with work-life integration. He likes to work a little bit every day. Weekends, vacations. He likes to wander into his office after dinner sometimes and keep working. I do not. I need certain hours and certain days even where my mind is not spinning on work. And if I don't get that, then my energy and creativity that I need to be good at what I do suffers. So it's really critical to recognize that the balance of work and non-work, of people time and me time and on time and off time, it's personal. It's highly individualized. And of course, we all have to stretch out of our comfort zones and how we like to work and get on with it as life demands. But it's important to know what those preferences are so that when we do have choice, we can work towards getting them. Without knowing this, we can't set the boundaries that we need to set to function at our best. We can't set the boundaries that we need to set in order to be in relationship to the people around us in the healthiest way possible, in the most productive ways. Importantly, we also need to be asking ourselves, what do I need to understand about the people around me? I can tell you that organizations and leaders that are not asking this question and that don't recognize that different people have different needs and preferences about how they work, they're struggling. I watch high performers lose their drive and walk away from jobs because they feel too much at the mercy of someone else's way of working. The world is moving faster than ever, but there are also more ways than ever to keep pace. Some people like a marathon pace. Some people like a 300-yard dash, then they reset, then they dash. Some people like a relay race where they dash and then they clearly hand off that dang baton and they take a rest. One thing that we can do in this challenging time is observe what these temporarily forced choices and new ways of being and doing are showing us about the pace that we do like, about what we do and don't like, when we do and don't do our best, how our partners and coworkers seem to operate, what do they seem to need and prefer in the way that they work. We can also take a look at how we operate under pressure, how we adapt to change. It's just information. We don't need to judge it. It's information that we have an opportunity to gather and see differently. And over time, we can put it to good use. In terms of the state of mind and how we go about all this observation without losing our minds, I would point you towards a blog that I wrote probably a couple months ago called Kindness Matters. It's about why kindness to yourself and towards others is so critical to how you experience and create the outcomes of your lives. I think I will make a video of that content as well, because as we observe the current strange balances or integration of the various parts of our lives, and as we observe the impact on ourselves and the people around us of uncertainty and fear and loss, I can think of nothing that matters more than kindness and generosity, first with ourselves and then with others. It is the key ingredient to doing hard things without losing your friends and without losing yourself.